Whoa! Look at that! Look at that teleportation skill.
How y'all doing? It's Colin. It's Sunday, the day before my 31st birthday. And I thought, what better way than to celebrate the day before my birthday than by doing an unboxing video. This time, probably one of the most recent things I have. I guess not technically, if you think about the Digimon X's and everything. But I thought it might be fun to do the Appli Duo from Digimon Universe Appli Monsters, Appmon, which before the 2020 anime was the last, it was the newest Digimon anime series that we had. So this is essentially, so it's cool, in Appmon, you actually have two different Digivices. First is this, the actual Appli drive, which is a pretty cool little Digivice. It's a little bit different. But that was the first one. That's kind of like the original version that all of the kids in the show get. And then they get their final version, which is this, the Appli Drive Duo. So this came out, I guess back in 2017. It showed up around the middle of the anime series. So I thought it might be cool to just kind of open this up, check it out a little bit. It actually came out while we were living in Japan, but I was kind of stupid and I had only bought this one. And then this one came out a little bit before we left. I could never really find it in a store, so I honestly just kind of forgot to buy it until I got back to America. But if you haven't messed around with the Appmon Digivices at all, one thing that is kind of interesting is that especially with the original one, literally there's not really much of a game or anything that's a part of this. Unlike the other Digivices that you shake or virtual pets, stuff like that. The whole gimmick with Appmon is that the different Digimon in the series, they're all on ships. So in Japan, guess what? You would see gacha machines filled with these. They're essentially also sold kind of like trading card booster packs. So, it's all random. You open it up and, of course, you get your monster based on rarity. This is one that got bundled with, so this is like the Agumon, the Gilmon, Vmon, whatever of Appmon, Gachmon. So that came with that originally. And so the entire idea is that you put the chips inside the Digivice, and then so it's, it's got a code. The Digivice can read the chips, the Appmon chips. So that's one thing about that honestly, for the first one, it doesn't really have any game kind of thing with it. It's cool because with Appmon in Japan, if you go to an arcade, they've got a lot of, in the arcades, they've got a lot of card games and kind of toy-based video games. So for example, if at the arcade there in Muteron, they had an Appmon machine, which you couldn't actually use the Digivice with it or the chips, but you put cards, you played that way. So one thing that's cool about Appmon is at the time, you can see, even back here, there was a 3DS game that you could use the chips with, and also there was kind of an arcade game that you could use them with as well. So, one thing that is actually cool about the Appli Drive Duo compared to the original one is I'm pretty sure there's a few more, gameplay elements to it. If you kind of see here, if you look at the back of it, you see the entire gimmick is that the Digivice opens up and that you have to put some of your DNA, your soul, into it to help the Digimon app realize. But I'm assuming here that this is actually, this is a little closer to some gameplay elements that were really kind of missing in the first one. But we'll go ahead and open it up real quick, just check it out. So that's one thing I do like about a lot of Japanese packaging is that it's pretty easy to just slip the cards off. So cool, we've actually got, I don't want to tear that, so I'll just pull. if you haven't watched Appmon, you know, it's definitely a little bit different. You know, you'll have a few little cameos, but really, you know, none of the old Digimon show up. You know, it's kind of like Cross Wars, different levels, you know, Digimon kind of fused together, stored in chips, all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I thought it was a pretty good series. I love the main character, Haru, the one who has Gashmon. He reminds me a lot of Takato from Digimon Tamers in terms of, you know, the kind of protagonist that he is. Anyway, this is the instruction sheet for the Appli Drive Duo. Yeah, it's a pretty big thing. Appmon.info, the website, the QR code, and like legitimate Japanese opens that way. So awesome, cool. So does that mean you can store them? So you can see one of Gatchmon's evolved forms here, and on the back. So this thing definitely, it takes up some batteries, which you'll see why here in a second. Once we get it ready to go. So just opening that up, let's take out. So this thing is actually, if there's one thing I appreciate about this Digivice, it's the size of it. It's definitely big, you know, it's way bigger than, I mean, really, look at that. That's a big old chunk of plastic. The only thing that I don't like about it is that, honestly, it feels a little less sturdy than the actual Appli Drive. One thing that is cool about all of these, though, is that the entire idea is that you can swap the shells. So technically, you know, that's like the base Digivice. And then you can actually buy kind of accessory packs, essentially, where you could change, I guess, the shell, the case, the Digivice. And you could actually do the same thing. Oh man, see, look at this. Look at this whole gimmick. Cool, right? I forget how to. Maybe you have to. I forget how to take this one out. I won't necessarily do it right now, but you can actually switch it and change it to any of the other Appmon characters, Digivices. So if we actually turn it on, let's see. Buttons. So yeah, it's going to be super hard to. Okay, cool. So we can kind of focus in on that a little bit. So obviously, if you can kind of tell, the Appli Drive has the both of them. Let's pop this in. So what we're doing is we're gonna put this. Okay, cool. Sculpumon, Kamaramon. So we're gonna. Oh, wait, look, it's. Oh, I didn't even put it in right. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so now it's telling me touch. I've got to touch it. Put my DNA in it. Yeah. So look, this is definitely not in any of your other modern Digivices, and this one lights up way more than the original one does.
It's like Baby Pachinko.
It really is kind of like Baby Pachinko a little bit. And it gives you its power level. Let me touch it one. Look at that. OVRE drive. So look. So one cool thing, I'm going to test this out and see if it does work like the original does. I actually brought my old Japanese coin purse out for this very, very thing. Because the original Appli Drive had a nice, let's say a special feature. Let's see if this works. maybe it doesn't. Because I'm pretty sure the old one... Okay, let's try something else. Okay, look, I'm looking like a total fool right now. But it was pretty cool because actually in the old one, you could literally just kind of throw a coin in there, close it up, and it would essentially just kind of... It would pretty much just give you a random Appmon, but it looks like we're getting an enemy. So let's see. Are we gonna be able to? Are we fighting it? Let's use Gatramon. Let's see what. Look, I can't even put it in right. So I guess they lock it in. Make sure to lock it in there. Oh, sorry. I forgot I had to touch. I'm sorry. I had to give my Digimon my DNA real quick. It's like a DDR song. Awesome. Listen to that voice acting. Okay, so I guess it's gonna battle. I won! I won! Look! Quest-based Digivice, automatically, right here, right now. Do I have to touch again? Anyway, so this is actually my first time. I guess, you know, I essentially just had to leave it on, and it put me essentially into a random battle. I'm not sure how far this goes, you know, really the extent of the quest mode or the mini games or however you want to call them. But obviously, you can tell the light is pretty cool, and that's something, you know, obviously we're still struggling to even get any type of Bandai Digimon release anyway with a backlight or color or something like that, you know, aside from the, you know, after the cross loader, which we'll check out in another video a little bit later on. But you can tell, like, this is actually, you know, it's kind of cool, you know, the fact that it's got the lights and sounds. Look. Oh, let me app link real quick. Oh, because you're supposed to pop it out of the back. That's right. Now let's link up with Sculptrum real quick. And this will be the last one I'll do before I finish up with it. But you know, if you I'm one of those people that I love to have you know, some of the devices from practically any Digimon series. And honestly, you know, as I was going through and finishing up Appmon, which I thought had a pretty good second half, a really good just kind of final arc and everything, you know, I think this Digivice is pretty cool. Like, even though it feels very plasticky and this one feels very much like a toy, I do like the lights and the sounds, and I feel like that's at least something that we don't normally get. One thing that does stink is I don't really have any of the data chips. I have a few from whenever we were in Japan, but, you know, I didn't really want to collect those too much just because I know there'd be too much of them and I'd have to, you know, kind of dig around to find them and all that. But I still think it's pretty cool. I'm glad I picked one up, even though it took me until I got back from Japan. I think it's definitely a cool device, and like I said, if you're into Appmon, if you, you know, eventually get into the series a little bit later on down the road, I think it's probably a really great pickup. The Appli drive is usually pretty inexpensive, so that one's pretty cool if you want to start off. It's definitely got some light and sound action too. The LCD is also color, and I think it's pretty cool. You know, like I said, I really, I don't know, I think it's just a really cool design, and honestly, I like this part a little more than this one. But I think they're both really awesome, and I mean, you know, maybe I like to believe that maybe Appmon a little bit later on down the road, you know, it'll definitely be appreciated even more, I hope, as time goes on and people can kind of appreciate it for what it is. So definitely try to pick it up now if you can, see if you enjoy it, check out Appmon. But that's pretty much it for this video. I think, next time, since I mentioned there's a few different things I'd like to do some videos with, especially the Digimon Twin, the Cross Loader, and then also the Blue D-Arc, the version 15th D-Arc. So if you watch this and you have any preference out of which one of those you would like to see first, just let me know down in the comments or something like that. But hey, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for sticking with me. That's it. Check out Appli Monsters if you can. Really, it's subbed. It's on Crunchyroll. It's online. All that kind of stuff. It's a great time. Check it out. Anyway, thanks so much. See ya.